Growing up, I was not the kind of high school kid who was throwing around weights in a weight room. I barely played on any sports teams. I was not hitting the gym with the bros after school, slamming around some plates. I spent pretty much all of my time in a dance studio with a bunch of teenage girls, and strength training and weightlifting was simply not a part of my life. I associated weight training with the football players, the hockey players, the straight bros of the world. Being a dancer, also predominantly being with women and girls in class, strength training was not talked about. It was not something I was super aware of, not something I was sure that I should be doing. So as I grew older, my athletic capabilities were there. I was flexible and mobile and well-conditioned and agile and so many things, but I was everything but strong. My entire childhood and teenage years were made up of performing and dancing. And if you know anything about the dance world, especially for female identifying individuals in the dance world, being slim and being skinny is a standard that a lot of people continue to uphold in the industry. And although that be skinny, be slim standard is not exactly pushed onto men, growing up in dance class, oftentimes when you're a boy, you're the only boy. I was mostly the only boy in a class with a bunch of girls, which as a gay little boy was a dream. I was with my people, but that meant that I was not exposed to strength training. Most 10, 12, 15, 18-year-old girls in ballet class are not really taught what it is to be strong and the importance of strength training. It's honestly something that I feel like is kind of taboo in a lot of dance worlds. There's obviously so many different kinds of dance and styles of dance, but strength training is not really something that a lot of dancers are familiar with. It's always stay lean, stay small, stay skinny, don't get too strong, don't get too bulky. But what professional dancers realize when they age is that strength training is absolutely a part of being a dancer. It's a part of being an athlete, and dancers are most certainly athletes. If you look at world-class dancers, take ballet dancers, New York City Ballet, they are not just flexible and slim, they're strong. They're strong as hell, but that's not always taught growing up in dance. So when I got to college, I'm older, I'm 6'2", I am 140, 50 pounds. I am so slim. I truly look like you could snap me in half like a pretzel at any moment and I would break. I was so insanely skinny, but also very weak. I had no experience with weights, with strength training, with picking up dumbbells. It was just something that I had truly never done before. And so I looked at myself and I was like, Nick, if you want to continue to be athletic and be a professional dancer and be a performer, you've got to be strong. Because I started to realize that when people aren't strong, they start to get injured. Now, the thought of walking into a gym and lifting weights by myself was absolutely terrifying. Again, it's not always a very inclusive, warm space for people who are inexperienced. Someone like me who was just tall and skinny and lanky and awkward and not comfortable in the gym, it was incredibly daunting. And something that honestly helped me for a bit was getting into group fitness. I obviously was used to being in a class, being in a dance class, and group fitness felt like a more safe, familiar place. I definitely got to a certain point. I was taking a lot of group fitness classes and, dumbbells usually go up to 10, 15 pounds. There wasn't many opportunities in the classes that I was taking to lift much heavier. Also, a lot of group fitness is pretty cardio biased, not all, but a lot of the group fitness that I was taking. So I started to transition into strength training workouts in the gym. Now that I was a little bit more comfortable, I knew how to squat with dumbbells. I knew how to do a dumbbell deadlift, lunges, bicep curls, things that I learned in a group fitness class. I was able to execute and try on my own. I'd be lying if I said I didn't learn a lot from the internet, from YouTube. At that time, TikTok was not a thing. Not to age myself. I mean, I'm not that old, but not to age myself. In college, TikTok did not exist. YouTube was amazing. Instagram was around. I looked up every fitness creator I could find and just learned what should I be doing, what lifts should I be doing, what is the proper form when it comes to these lifts. Growing up, I was so exposed to fitness. I come from a family of Ironman athletes. My mom was a college hockey player. My brother was a college hockey player. So I'm around so many athletes, but my family and my parents are now all runners and triathletes. So we're a very endurance focused family. And because of that, I think my idea of what working out was when I had my triathlete runner family and my dance background was endurance. It was like working out for 3 straight hours as hard as you can, dripping sweat. I wasn't exposed to strength training because it wasn't like a completely essential part of running, triathlons, dance. Of course, strength training is incredibly beneficial and I would argue essential to all sports, but a lot of runners, a lot of endurance athletes aren't quite strength training as much as they should be. So I was not familiar with the strength training game. I knew how to run, I knew how to work out for hours, but I did not know how to properly strength train. So walking into the gym was truly like running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I had no idea what I was doing. And the funny thing is that dancers are so aware and we are so aware of our movement and our bodies and all these things. But when you're learning a completely new vocabulary, something you're not exposed to, you're not going to be good at it at first. You're going to have no idea what you're doing. And so I quickly learned that I had to go in with an open mind and be patient with myself and also not allow myself to get discouraged by the fact that I had no idea what I was doing. But who on day one of walking into the gym knows what the hell they are doing? No one. No one. So when I started becoming more consistent in the gym, it was scary. Progress was slow and small. But what I really tried to focus on, and I think this is really what helped me, was basics. Simple movements. I didn't get complicated with what's the best exercise for pec engagement, what's the best kind of bicep curl. I went simple. I focused on squats, deadlifts, squatting, hinging, pressing, upper push, strict press, shoulder press, bench press, pulling, just the basic compound movements, because I knew what I wanted for my sport, for dance, was to be able to lift a lot of weight. So I went into it knowing I need compound lifts, I need to lift heavy, and the progress came. What a lot of people I think don't realize when it comes to strength training is that progress is not going to come overnight, but if you are patient, you will see the results. It is slow, meaningful progression, progressive overload week to week, increasing the weight by a little bit, increasing the reps if you're keeping the weight the same. Small incremental changes is what's going to lead to amazing, drastic results. It is truly, and I don't think people realize this enough, a lesson in patience. You've got to trust the science that strength training is not only beneficial, it is essential to us just simply being human beings that are aging. Strength training is essential. Trust the science, trust the process, know that the results are not going to come overnight, and just simply be patient. I think so many people, when they don't see progress, give up. You might be at the precipice of amazing results and you quit because you don't like what you see in the mirror. It's about staying dedicated to a long-term goal of building strength, being a badass, strong individual. The moment when I knew I had successfully gained strength that I never in a million years thought I would have is the moment when I became that guy who people asked to pick things up. Oh, I have to load a couch into my car. Will you help me? Oh, Nick, will you help me get this heavy thing down? I don't think I'm strong enough for it. When I became that guy, that's when I started to realize, hold on, I'm deadlifting 300 pounds. I'm bench pressing more than I ever thought I could. I'm squatting when 5 years ago I could probably barely squat an empty barbell. I'm squatting 300 pounds. Like, I had that moment of I am in a different body than I was 10 years ago. When I was a freshman in college, I could not even dream of touching the weights that I'm able to lift now. And it's about so much more than the physical. I'm maybe 195 pounds now, when again, in college, I probably graduated at maybe 160. I have gained a lot of pounds of muscle and I know it's muscle because my body fat percentage is still very low in a pretty short amount of time. You could look at that and say, wow, 5-6 years, that's a long time. In terms of strength training, it's pretty fast. Again, muscle does not build overnight. This is years and years of dedication to getting into a brand new way of working out that I was completely inexperienced in. I am now a dancer, triathlete, runner who is not only stronger, but safer, more confident in the way I move, more injury-free. If you are not strength training and you have no desire to be strong, just have a desire to not be injured. We're all athletes of life. We stand up, we sit down, we run to the subway, we open our car door in the winter when it's frozen shut. We do things that are active and athletic in our everyday lives. And you have got to be strong in order to be injury-free. I really think of myself now as a true hybrid athlete. And hybrid athlete is a funny term because what does it mean? It's just the way an athlete is supposed to train. And as a dancer, may relate to this as a runner or a swimmer or any kind of endurance sport. If you are not strength training, you are not training like an athlete should be training. Strength training has got to be a part of your training, even if it is not directly a part of your sport. It's got to be. As human beings, we have to strength train. So the reason I'm sharing this journey of mine with you is because I think a lot of people can relate. And I'm not just talking about people who have a similar background to me. I'm talking queer people, women, who grow up in a society that tells them to not look too bulky, to not get too strong, people who are maybe overweight and desperately want to size down, and so they're afraid of strength training because they think strength training is going to make them bigger. Strength training, trust me, the results do not come overnight. You're not going to get into strength training and all of a sudden gain 100 pounds. You're not going to become the Hulk overnight. It is incredibly, trust me, incredibly hard to bulk up or to gain weight through building muscle. Muscle builds and grows slowly. And by the way, no matter who you are, having muscles is sexy. I'm afraid to get bulky. When did we decide that being as small as possible was the ideal? I'm still a very endurance biased athlete. I'm still a dancer, a runner. But strength training makes me stronger at those things. So if you are a beginner, if you do not strength train, just know there is so much room for growth and you don't even know the benefits you are going to see in your everyday life, in the sports you love to play, in the moments that you like to play with your kids, your grandchildren, your more athletic friends who you're always trying to keep up with. The benefits are endless. Investing in a strength training journey, y'all, is one of the best investments you can make in your body, in your health, in your life. Why do I feel like I am just like Bible thumping right now for strength training? Like big strength training has got me in a chokehold right now. But seriously, I know I see a lot of people. I work with a lot of people online. I have tons of people coming to my in-person classes, and I know how many people are not utilizing strength training. I know a lot of cardio junkies who do not strength train. I know a lot of amazing athletes, even endurance athletes who simply do not strength train. So I obviously feel passionately about it because whether you are just a person who likes to just live life and watch reality TV and eat good food, or whether you are a professional athlete, you need to strength train. You need it. Shameless plug here. I've got an app. I have a free trial, and after that, it's only $19 a month. I not only have on-demand workout videos that you can do with me to work out with me, but I also have strength training programs. So if you are someone who walks into the gym and wants a little bit of guidance, I have written out that guidance for you. It is also the strength training program that I follow. So if you're curious what I follow, what has helped me go from being 6'2", 150 pounds, again, that is so incredibly small and skinny and just probably not healthy, to being 6'2" and 195 pounds of lean muscle. I follow this program. I put my heart and soul into programming it. So if you are interested in trying, you can get all of that for $19 a month. So there's something for everyone. I've got stretching, I've got bar, mat Pilates classes, I've got core classes and true strength training programs. So there's certainly something for everyone. Link in bio if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. I think I'm going to talk a bit more about a good strength training program looks like. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I actually do in terms of my training. A lot to look forward to in the next video. All right, see you guys.